And when we create a story that purposefully holds an idea, our audience connects deeply. It's been an incredibly busy time for me. I've been a guest on almost 30 podcasts, and every one of those podcasts has been really unique. I've enjoyed the conversations really a lot. But what's been interesting is that every host that I speak with wants to talk about one thing: storytelling. Why do you think that is? Well, I think it's because stories are something that we as humans are hardwired for. We absolutely love hearing and telling a good story. And when we are just left to our own devices, out in the wild, meeting each other in coffee shops, we tell stories all the time. But that moment when we're in front of a camera or maybe on a stage or at the front of a boardroom, story is the furthest thing from our mind. But I want you to be thinking that stories should be the thing that you're pulling from right away. Because the reality is, stories connect us in ways that go way beyond the information that we're trying to convey. Stories connect us at a human level. We can relate to each other's stories. Now, we may not have had the same experiences, but it's the context and the meaning where we really relate. Let me give you an example. I can tell you a great story about how, when I was 23, I packed up my Rabbit convertible with everything I owned, including my microwave. And I made the trek from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia to the big city of Toronto. Now, you may have had a different hometown than me, and maybe you never even left that hometown. But I'll bet you've moved at least once in your life. And you may not have had crazy experiences of packing up your entire life and moving to another province, but I'll bet that you've had some things that have happened in your life that have disrupted your life in ways that you couldn't have imagined. So you can relate to my little short story through memories of your own story. And this is what stories do. They connect us. They help us to better understand the information that we're hearing because it's been contextualized through a story. And when we create a story that purposefully holds an idea, our audience connects deeply. Now, I can already hear a few of you saying, I don't have any stories to tell. And I may not know you directly, but here's the thing I do know. You have some great stories to tell because your whole life, our whole lives, are just one big long story. And the reason we struggle to find a story is because we don't know what meaning we're trying to create with it. So when we know the idea that we want to convey with that story, and when that idea is sharp and clear, we can look in that long life, that incredible story that we are living in real time, and find a moment that would contextualize that idea beautifully. And that's the way that our lives showcase our idea in a way that creates shared understanding, not only of the idea, but of the importance that it holds. You see, our stories are like Trojan horses for the ideas that they hold. Our ideas get safely hidden inside of that story, and our audience unsuspectingly listens to these beautiful stories. And as they do, we reveal little clues along the way and eventually take them to that idea. And when we do that, our audience is enthralled. Why? Because they didn't see the idea coming. They were so entranced by the story. The idea itself felt natural. Because what we do is we entice our listeners with the details and the impact of our story. We tell them the environment, where it's happening, the characters, who's in it, the challenge or the opportunity. Why are we telling them this story? And even the twists and turns along the way. And when our audience least expects it, this is when we deliver our idea, an idea that we have consciously led them to. We've dropped those little clues, I call them breadcrumbs, along the way, and they lean in closer because we just gave them something they didn't even see coming. And the reality is, when they hear it, now they know why they need it to know it. And that's how our ideas get contextualized by our stories. When we do this, and when we use our own rich and detailed lives, our ideas become vivid and clear, and our audiences feel our passion and the importance we feel about the outcome of those ideas. Because stories are carriers for ideas. And when we learn how to build what I call idea-centric stories, we're using both art and science. If you want to learn a little bit more about how to become an idea-centric storyteller, then check out the links below and download our storytelling toolkit. It gives you everything you need to build a story to hold your ideas and convey them in your very next corporate presentation, boardroom talk, or stage presentation. And if you enjoyed the content that I'm sharing with you now, then make sure you're following me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.